still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, go.
Double up.
Champion.
Yes, sir. STAKK Nation, welcome back to the channel. How you feeling today, sir?
Beautiful day, I have to say. Beautiful day, you know. Work is going great. Building the business is going great. Life is great.
You sound excited.
Well, I mean, even if things are tough, you still gotta say it's great. So yeah.
Hey man, listen man, greatness begins from the mind. If you say it's great, then it's great, you know. What was that precedent, man? Someone once said, you know, if you believe you can, then you can. If you can't, then you can. I don't know, some quote like that. You know? I really don't remember these quotes unless it was mine, man. You know, so
Even your quotes, we have a tough time remembering them.
listen, man.
The good thing is that we have them in recording.
The quotes are not meant to be remembered. Okay, the quotes, they come from a moment of inspiration, right? They just whip out from the soul. So it is what it is. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for tuning back into the channel. We're excited to be doing this again. Thank you all for subscribing. Really means a lot to us. We're living through an interesting time, and we're really crossing over into a new financial system, right? And every now and then we do videos highlighting some of this things that are coming up in the new financial system, and I think today is one of those ones, right?
Yeah.
So we're going to be talking about wealth inequality, right? And you know how Bitcoin can play a part, right, in undoing this inequality. And we're not the only ones who see it this way, right? So we have this article from Bitcoin Magazine, which we'll be sharing with everyone, right, to talk a little bit more about this. But before we dive into this, okay, I just want to point out what exactly it is we're talking about here. Now, check this out. We know that since there's this whole website called What Happened in 1971, where we see that from like 1971 or so, or in the 70s, that's when everything just started going awry, right? So we can see one of the clearest things is that productivity and the pay gap has definitely seen a massive split since the 70s, right? We can see from 79 to 2020, productivity has been up 61%, while compensation has only been up 17.5%. And there's a bunch of reasons for this, right? And most of them have to do with policy, right? So we see here that since the 70s, policymakers have been essentially dismantling the things that will allow for workers to continuously, or allow for labor laws and things like that to keep up with increasing productivity, right? But here's the main article we're going to be diving into double O, right? This one is from Bitcoin Magazine, as always. Bitcoin can be the undoing of inequality, right? While the current system is contributing to increasing inequality, Bitcoin serves to benefit everyone equally and promote fair competition. Right? And we've spoken about this. I kind of do a little bit of an intro here. Since the 70s, the world inequality has soared to levels never seen before. Right? The dollar was no longer redeemable for gold at one point. Of course, we remember that situation. Exactly. Instead, it was backed by faith. The same way we're waiting on this inflation to go away, right? Is faith and hope. And I don't know about you, man, but
it's more than faith, man. It's guns as well.
Well, you know, these guns, no one can do anything about it. And of course, we have charts showing the top 5% just massively gapping everyone else when it comes to wealth, right? Wow. I mean, middle class has been, you know, destroyed recently, would you say, from everything that is happening?
Well, we'll see a slow, well, as you can see in the charts, there's a slow reduction of the impact of these policies to the middle class. The poor just getting poorer, that's for sure. But the impact of the middle class is starting to grow even further.
Absolutely. Now, before we dive into this discussion, there's one more thing I want to point out here, right? And this is where we think this Bitcoin situation is very important. According to the Center of Financial Inclusion, approximately 1.7 billion people are still unbanked. Can you believe that? 1.7 billion people.
Hey, dude, man. We grew up in Africa, you know, for sure. That's for real.
That is for real, right? And also when I see that, I also say to myself, man, we're early. You know, what would it look like when these 1.7 billion people are on the Bitcoin network, right? Now, increasingly, research is presenting evidence of mobile money services improving financial conditions in developing nations. According to this study by Tavnit Suri and William Jack, estimates suggest approximately 194,000 Kenyan households have been lifted out of poverty. 194,000 Kenyan households have been lifted out of poverty with the expansion of a mobile money service known as M-Pesa. The study cites increased financial resilience, savings, and occupational choice, particularly for women, as the largest improvements provided by money services.
Yep.
Incredible.
Innovation in Kenya, M-Pesa, one of the biggest solutions out there on the African continent, especially in the east coast of the continent. Literally, all you need is a mobile phone.
Absolutely.
And you can transact.
I mean, how long has it been that people have been trying to donate money to raise people out of poverty and things like that? But there's always a problem, right? And now, I think what is different is that the people actually have the money in their hands. They have the ability to really engage with the free market, really, without anyone else's intervention. This means that people can soar to new heights, if you will.
Yeah, even funny enough, they will say work smart, not hard. The funny thing is that they want to label poor people as not working, but they do work. They work hard, but their value, the store of their working hard, is not properly stored or cannot be stored or cannot be safely stored, right? So you can't say Africans don't work hard. Golly, you see these guys dig an entire acreage of farm in one day with a hand device.
Listen, there are certain places in the world where if you live there, you have no other option but to work hard. Otherwise, you will die. Period. You know what I mean?
Question
it's life
now
and
is
death.
The question now is what's the store of your value? How do you store that work that you've stored, that you've worked? And they store it in their local currency, which get deflated, depreciated, and that is what Bitcoin is trying to solve, is that you can still store your value somewhere. You can sell that product globally, get it to the market and still have value in it.
Absolutely. Look, man, there is a level of confidence that I feel behind Bitcoin, okay? Because it does not need anyone else to do anything. It just needs you to be willing to participate and educate yourself, right? Now, when it comes to this wealth inequality thing, we've been talking about wealth inequality for the longest of times. I get it. There's people who make this argument that, hey, if you want to break out of this area of poverty, you need to work harder and you need to do this and that. I agree with all of that. You need to do that because at the end of the day, even if you get on the Bitcoin standard and you don't work, right, you're going to still be broke. However, one thing that we must acknowledge is the fact that when you're trying to break out of this poverty situation and there are people who are already wealthy and have influence over leadership to change the rules, right, thereby suppressing other people, right, to stay poor, that is a different story. We can clearly see that policies have been moved around, right, to kind of maximize profits for the already wealthy. And while the other people who are not that wealthy stay broke forever. At the beginning of this video, that's exactly what I showed. You saw the chart there, right? Productivity is up, but wages are not up. It means that the people are working and they're not getting paid, right?
Or they're getting paid, they're not getting paid enough.
They're not getting paid, exactly. They're not getting paid to match, their productivity. So, but on the Bitcoin standard, I think that for one, there's going to be a different level of competition, higher level of competition, right? Because now we're, the same way technology exposed, jobs across the world, right? People were able to hire other people from different countries for a lower price because they have the education, but they're willing to take less. I think that money has also now entered this realm where there's going to be much more competitive pricing, right? Because if you're unable to compensate people for something, properly, they will just find someone else anywhere across the world and easily pay them, right? Paying them is not going to be a restriction. And so if you have developers who are in Africa, which we know, like, there's a seriously impressive amount of good developers in somewhere like Africa, well, these people now have the ability to bid or put their talents out there and compete with the rest of the world and get paid for it.
Yep.
This is something that I think would reduce that wealth inequality, and there's no policy you can put in place to stop that from happening.
Imagine if Fiverr was accepting payment in Bitcoin, ensuring that all the the guys the free consultants or the freelancers on the platform gets paid in Bitcoin.
Do you think if Fiverr was accepting payments in Bitcoin, they might have to restructure the business? I guess the business strategy, because really, what Fiverr is just a third party.
Yeah, but the third party, they're also an intermediary for the collection of funds. They owe the funds before the funds get to the freelancers' ends.
That is like buying Bitcoin on Paxful, where you have the Bitcoin goes into escrow, right? So you can transact with someone without trusting them. I think that's incredible.
No? Yeah, I got some interesting notes, kind of very similar to yours as well. While I was reading that article, and you said it best. Everybody work, and they tell you to work harder, right? Right. But then if you work harder, right, either you're getting paid as a salary, or you just work as a freelancer, or you say you have your own business. Yeah. Everything you mentioned still gets impacted. Just by breathing, you get taxed. You get in your car, you pay a vehicle that you take tag taxes, you pay gas taxes, you pay tax just for everything on the car is taxed.
Yeah, you get taxed for everything, man. Apparently, if you die, you get taxed too.
Yeah, you do. You do. Really? It's funny enough, you do get taxed. Yes.
Oh, I heard someone say that, and I didn't really think it was.
No, it's a fact. Your wealth get taxed before it gets transferred to your kids.
Oh, this is true. Yeah.
So imagine that, especially if you don't have a will. It's even worse, or trust, right? So you talk about the government policies, right? I'm not sure if people are paying attention. The policies that are being implemented are making the wealthy wealthier, keeping the poor poorer, stealing away from the middle class, giving it to the rich. Let me explain one of those reasons, right? Amazon, Apple, those guys, do they really pay taxes? But they're allowed to move or to be in other countries to have employees outside of their main countries, right? And keep those funds over there. Those are policies that get implemented. Whatever you want to call it, trade agreements, whatever you want to call it, is still impacting the citizens of your country, which is the old issue about borders. So we already talked about taxes, policies, right? So no matter how hard you work, no matter how successful your business is, the governments who are controlled by the 1% or the 5% still impacts your life. And then on top of that, the governments have been influenced in such a way that they decide what your dollar is going to be worth tomorrow. Inflation today, deflation tomorrow, based on the interest rates policies that they put into place. So you work really hard, you put your money in the bank. What happens after that? The value of the dollar goes down.
It's gone.
Without you doing anything.
It's gone.
Really, literally. Yeah. Even when you invest it, right? And they decide to increase inflation. What happens?
Yeah.
The value of your stocks starts sinking. And they don't care. They don't care what the impact of their policies. You work so hard to invest in the stocks in the company. They say invest. But then they create these policies that intentionally destroys your investments.
Yeah.
So are they considering the impact of their actions?
I don't think they are, man. Rent seekers.
Are they just short-term siders?
As they will call them, right? I think it's really something to ask, right? Like, where are the morals of these people? And why do they feel that this is, it's okay for everyone else to be broke, right? Why can they not practice this same level of compassion towards everyone else? But these are questions that I don't even care for an answer anymore, because the thing is, it's really, these people are living far out of the reality of the rest of society, right? They've been living this way since who knows what. I don't think there's any bringing these people back. This is why Bitcoin is here, because really there is two, I don't want to say two factions, but there is two paths right now, or two groups right now. And this is what I mean by that. The people that are leading us right now, because we're saying we're trying to get to the future, we're trying to be futuristic. The people that are leading us right now are really the same people that were leading our parents and possibly our grandparents even, right? Some of these people are still up there in leadership.
Mm-hmm.
So
you can see that in Congress.
Right, you can see that in Congress, or you can see all the way across. So how are we expecting change of any sort when we're dealing with people that are still, not even in the modern mindset, right?
Do you want to bring Nigeria election into
we might as well bring Nigeria's election. Yeah, we should totally bring Nigeria's election into this. You know what I mean? Because that sort of stuff is the exact kind of thing that needs to stop, right? Just that lack of transparency, which is something that there are definitely people out there working to make that change happen, right? And I don't think they'll see it when it hits them, but we know that for the longest of times. Even like when I was born, Cameroon, man, same president before I was born, same president today, right? And they call it a democratic.
It's not a democratic country.
Democratic republic. So things like that need to come to an end, and I believe that we are at a point where that change is about to start happening, because we are the ones that need to make it happen. It's nobody else. That would be us.
Yeah, and that change includes us educating people.
Right.
It's so bad that even the middle class and the lower and the poor people, I don't want to call them poor people. These people are not.
I know
poor
these are horrible words that society put out there. But
even middle class Americans, I don't think middle class should be a definition. We're all people. We're all valuable people.
Let's call them the financially strapped, or the less financially off, if you will.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, because I don't want to be calling anyone poor, man. I think poverty is a mindset. Now, if you're poor in your mind, you're poor. There's nothing anyone can do about that.
Yeah, exactly.
So there's that.
Yeah. And the unfortunate truth is that those people are heavily misinformed, to the point that on a daily basis, this misinformation is being pushed to them. Do you know how many people in the mindset listen to Bloomberg or listen to STAKK, for example?
Yeah.
I was listening to Bloomberg on my way to pick up my daughter today. These guys are literally talking about Bitcoin as an investment and why you should invest in it. But on TV, it's totally something different. It's totally crashing, and so on and so forth.
Yeah, I mean, these guys, this is how you know that they're no longer in sync, man. They're failing because they're just all over the place. Because Bloomberg is telling you, yeah, it's good, and someone else is telling you no. I think people just need to spend time educating themselves.
Or just check us out once in a while. Ask us questions. We'll do videos on this kind of things. Research them for you if you don't have the time. The reality is that the decentralization of the control of your value would allow you to start coming out of that strangleholdness on your ability to move up the ladder, if you want to call it that.
Absolutely.
Because if you can walk and secure the value of what you've walked, you can then grow it. We should not be sitting down at the edge of on the edge of our chairs, waiting for one person on the Federal Reserve to screw everybody up, or to unscrew everybody up. When did we become this nation or this group of people that think that that's acceptable or that's normal? And it's like that all over the world. Central banks are freaking out. Investors are losing all their money. Somebody's sitting in the office saying, okay, tomorrow I'm going to increase the interest rate by 0.75 basis point because of the things that he has released too much money into the economy, and it's time for him to just take it back. And then when we sit down and we'll take a look at it, who did you give the money? You gave the super rich the money. They decided to do buybacks, buy jet planes, get richer. And when you started shrinking, they just put their money back, put it in bonds, sold at the top, took all the profits, right? Which we all saw, right? Microsoft, Google,
Yeah.
Tesla,
Ooh,
all
we
those
saw
guys
them, man.
sold at the
They
top,
were all selling. They were all selling. Yeah.
took their profits, and then everybody else is left. Oh no, it's winter. Oh, it's a recession. It's a depression. Either way you look at it, you're already screwed.
Yeah. I agree.
All right.
And I think these people have made themselves gods, man. But man is not God, and I think it's just a matter of time. And this is all I got. We can close this one after this, but I think I can see how this old school institution people are behind. I can see how they're thinking that they have a hold on Bitcoin, but they're still behind. Because I cannot think of one person right now in government that can come up to me and talk Bitcoin with me at a level that I will not understand it. Yet we're expecting these people to lead us. It's like when we went to the Bitcoin conference, right? Kathy Woods was coming out to speak. I don't even know what she said. I never went to see it, but I don't think Kathy Woods is a person that can teach anyone about Bitcoin. Well, I mean, she can now, but when you're in a position where you have to talk to a massive amount of people, which obviously I get it, like if Kathy would say she wants to come talk at whatever conference, they would let her do that, you know what I mean? Money talks, bush walks. But the reality of the matter is that she's one of those, it's everyone is learning this, right? And if anyone is kind of telling you that they know how it's going to go, I think that's just bullshit, right? Because this is not the typical traditional markets where people can give you inside information that no one knows. We can all see it on the blockchain.
If I can add to that, right?
Yes.
The traditional markets.
Yeah.
The traditional markets are controlled, as we all know, or influenced or manipulated by very few. A lot of people that know about the stock market or have been trading in the stock market know about this.
Yeah.
This is what we call the establishment. Now, when you have a new money that either threatens to overtake, replace, disrupt their system, what we see in the market now is part of what normally would happen in the traditional market, and it's happening. So this macroeconomics, the issue with Russia and Ukraine, the old China, the old demand and supply issue, all this is going to have some minimal impact on Bitcoin, just because those are just external macro, because as we all know, people are still stalling their value in the dollar and then eventually transition it into this new money. There's going to become a time when this new money becomes a system of itself that does not need and to not need the inflow of the US dollar. When that time comes, I just hope you're not behind.
That's how we call run on the bank. I think that's how we call run on the bank on fiat, I guess.
On fiat.
Yeah, so it is what it is.
You want to be on the good side. So not financial advice, we're just saying what we know.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, listen, Double, I have nothing else, man. Let's wrap this one up. Ladies and gentlemen, let us know in the comment I said in the comments. In the comments down below, what do you think? Do you believe that Bitcoin is going to play a part in, reducing this financial inequality we see, right? I mean, and how much further? Unfortunately, I think America is running behind on that one. Until next time, do not forget to like, share, subscribe, and thank you if you already subscribed. Really appreciate that. Always a good time. Until next time, Brazen out.
Double out. Don't forget to check us out on podcasts. We got that going as well.
Oh, yeah. Anchor.fm. Check us out. STAKK. Right. There we go.